Niger. Governor Makinde tells Nigerians to rigorously scrutinize all 2027 presidential candidates. Oyo police launch anti-digital thuggery campaign. And on the foreign scene, multiple fatalities recorded in UK car crash. Good evening, and thank you for joining us on News Around the World here on BCOS television. I am Idowu Shekoni. The sign language interpreter is Shakirat Ogundeji. Bandits have reportedly invaded the Kara community in Borgu local government area of Niger State, abducting an unspecified number of residents shortly after they attended Friday, that's Jumu'ah prayers. The attack occurred between about 2 p.m. and 2:30 p.m. on Friday as the armed men stormed the community and allegedly rounded up residents who had gathered at the mosque for the congregational prayer. Chairman of Borgu local government area, Honorable Nasiru Abdullahi, confirmed the incident in a telephone interview shortly after the attack. According to him, all the affected communities include Gidan Zana, Sabun Gida, and Masata. Nasiru expressed confidence. Meanwhile, the Nigerian army says a total of 24 family members of Islamic State West Africa province ISWAP terrorists have surrendered to troops in Mafa local government area of Borno. The piece of information is in an operational report made available to newsmen on Saturday. The report indicated that the terrorists' family members surrendered to troops of 112 Task Force Battalion. It added that the group fled the Gasua and Yaganari terrorist enclaves following clashes between rival factions within the terrorist organization. It's noted that the surrendered family members had been profiled and documented by the troops for further action. It's further revealed that troops of 212 Battalion, supported by the Civilian Joint Task Force, CJTF, had in another operation apprehended 2 suspects during a raid in Bewak General Area. The report added that the operation was conducted along Al-Ansar University Road in Maiduguri Metropolitan Council based on human intelligence about suspected terrorist activities. Similarly, troops of Operation Fasanyama have sustained their operational momentum across the joint operations area, rescuing a kidnapped victim in Kaduna State and foiling a terrorist attack in Sokoto State. Media Information Officer Lieutenant Colonel Aliyu Danja made this known on Saturday. Lieutenant Colonel Danja said around Awan community in Kashia local government area in Kaduna State. He noted that the troops swiftly moved into the area and pursued the terrorists into the surrounding bushes, compelling them to abandon their captive and flee. The media officer further disclosed that in a separate operation, troops of Sector 2, working in conjunction with local security elements, responded to a terrorist attack on Kwaren Gamba village in Sabon Birni local government area of Sokoto State. Lieutenant Colonel Danja explained that the troops engaged the terrorists and forced them to withdraw in disarray. However, some residents of Port Harcourt have defied the rain and staged a peaceful protest over alleged one-chance attacks in the city. Among the protesters are some victims who are said to have survived alleged attacks involving criminals operating in commercial vehicles. Others have joined the march in solidarity with the victims and to demand urgent action to prevent further occurrences, with placards expressing their displeasure over what they describe as a worrying new trend of criminal activities in the state capital. The protesters called on authorities to strengthen security on the roads and protect commuters. You're watching News Around the World on BCOS television. We pause for a short commercial break. Please stay tuned.
My strength. It's unique and deserves care made specially for me. New Nivea Radiant and Beauty Advanced Care with 5 oils and 5 vitamins, 48-hour nourishment, helps reduce appearance of stretch marks in just 2 weeks. New Nivea Radiant and Beauty Advanced Care for your shade of beautiful.
Many thanks for staying tuned. President Bola Tinubu will chair the All Progressives Congress APC Presidential Campaign Council for the January 2027 elections, with former Zamfara State Governor Senator Abdulaziz Yari appointed Director General of the campaign. Vice President Kashim Shettima and APC National Chairman Professor Nantawe Yildiwada will serve as Vice Chairman of the Council, while Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma has been named Secretary. The composition of the campaign council was announced in a statement issued today by Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Ononuga. President Tinubu, while charging members of the council to work tirelessly for the APC's victory, said the administration would go into the campaign season with a record of achievements which members must confidently present to Nigerians. He declared that the country had emerged from its difficult economic phase and political entertainment should decide the contest. Governor Makinde made the call in his latest newsletter as campaigns for the 2027 presidential and National Assembly elections formally got underway. It said the commencement of the campaigns marked the beginning of a crucial national conversation about the direction of the country and the leadership required to address its challenges. Governor Makinde added that his own campaign would be about putting Nigerians first, declaring that in a related development, the All Progressives Congress APC chairmanship candidate for Ohazara local government area, Osborne Umahi, has commended the peaceful conduct of the Ebonyi State local government elections. Umahi, son of the Minister of Works, Dave Umahi, spoke after casting his vote at his Onofuluku polling unit in Umunaga, Uburu, Ohazara local government area, thanking residents for turning out in large numbers to exercise their franchise. He said he was satisfied with the conduct of the election and expressed optimism that the outcome would reflect the wishes of the people. He urged stakeholders to maintain the peaceful atmosphere until the conclusion of voting and collation of results. Also, Senator Anthony Ani, representing the Ebonyi South Senatorial District, described the election as a demonstration of the state's commitment to democratic principles. Ani, who spoke after casting his vote in Onitsha local government area, said the state remained peaceful while adequate security measures have been deployed to ensure a smooth electoral process. In the meantime, Osun State Governor Ademola Adeleke has commended the governorship candidate of the All Progressives Congress APC, Mr. Bola Oyebamiji, over his call for peace in the state following the conclusion of election in the state. Oyebamiji had in a statement called on his supporters and party members to maintain peace and order, saying that he respects the decision of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, on the poll without going against his party's decision to review the poll outcome. Reacting to the statement, Governor Adeleke described Oyebamiji's peace advocacy as a positive tone after weeks of heated campaign and election season. The governor further described the peace advocacy as a good development for the Osun people who experienced trauma and violence over the last 2 months ahead of last Saturday's election. The Oyo State Police Command has commemorated the 2026 International Youth Day with a police youth dialogue aimed at strengthening mutual trust, promoting responsible citizenship, and addressing security challenges affecting young people. A major highlight of the event was the launch of the national campaign against political and digital thuggery. Staff reporter Adebayo Abdurrafi was at the Usman Alkali Baba Conference Hall of the command's headquarters, Eleyele Ibadan, venue of the event. He has the story.
The 2026 International Youth Day, commemorated under the theme Different Contexts, Common Aspirations, provided the Oyo State Police Command an opportunity to engage young people on their role in building peaceful and secure communities. The event, held at the Usman Alkali Baba Conference Hall of the Command Headquarters, Eleyele Ibadan, brought together youth representatives, traditional and community leaders, stakeholders, A major highlight was the launch of the national campaign against political and digital thuggery, aimed at sensitizing young people against political violence and the misuse of digital platforms for incitement, harassment, cyberbullying, misinformation and disinformation. The Commissioner of Police, Oyo State Command, CP Abimbola Olubenga, urged youths to reject violence, political thuggery, digital abuse and other forms of criminality and embrace their role as responsible citizens and agents of positive change.
As a command, we recognize that security cannot be achieved through policing alone. Our youth must be active participants in crime prevention, peace building and community development. We therefore encourage them to engage closely with the police, speak up against criminality, and contribute constructively to the security and development of our young communities.
The Police Youth Dialogue also provided an opportunity for participants to express their concerns about policing and what they expect from law enforcement agencies. Some participants raised concerns about what they described as hasty profiling of young people, saying encounters with the police could sometimes evoke mixed feelings of safety, threat, and extortion. They stressed that not every young person should be perceived as an internet fraudster or criminal, while calling for greater professionalism, impartiality, sincerity, and respect for citizens. The participants also advocated proactive policing, better listening to young people's concerns, and the use of mediation where appropriate, stressing that the police uniform should not be perceived as a symbol of superiority over citizens. Speaking on behalf of traditional leaders, the initiator of the Ibadan Compound Peace and Security Initiative, Dr. Nuruddin Akinade, acknowledged the benefits of social media but warned against its misuse. He urged young people to take responsibility for information they originate and share online.
The Commissioner of Police and the SC Police Command has done wonderfully well. They have brought together the critical stakeholder, and that is the youth, as we are celebrating International Youth Day for this year. How can we work hand in hand with our youth to ensure that their orientation of some of them will change for better, to ensure that we have a collaboration, an effective one, between the police, other law security agencies, and the youth of the state.
And avoid blanket condemnation of the force. They also advised young people to conduct themselves responsibly, noting that the police have the duty to invite persons suspected of criminal activity for interrogation in accordance with the law. The resident electoral commissioner of INEC, Oyo State, Professor Adenino Tella, linked police-youth relations to the conduct of peaceful and credible elections. He noted that the quality of interaction between young people and the police could influence youth participation in the electoral process.
The level of interaction between the Nigerian youth and the Nigerian police has remained a core tension when it comes to the issue of democracy space. And we cannot continue to pin some charges against the Nigerian police.
Earlier in his welcome remarks, the Deputy Commissioner of Police in charge of the Criminal Investigation Department, Salahuddin Isiaka, said young people, despite their different backgrounds and experiences, share common aspirations for peace, personal safety, opportunities, and a better future. He stressed that effective security requires cooperation, information sharing, and constructive engagement between the police and the youth. The program, organized in line with the vision of the Inspector General of Police, IGP Olatunji Disu, is aimed at deepening police-youth relations and encouraging young people to play an active role in crime prevention and community safety. Representatives of the military and paramilitary agencies, Police Community Relations Committee, Christian Association of Nigeria, League of Imams and Alfaz, civil society organizations, youth groups, and other stakeholders participated in the engagement. The Oyo State Police Command says sustained dialogue with young people remains critical to building mutual trust, preventing crime, and promoting peaceful participation in democratic processes. Adebayo Abdurrafi, BCOS News.
It is important for Nigerians to recognize that humanity comes before religious affiliation, as this understanding can foster mutual respect and encourage individuals to think twice before resorting to violence or intolerance. These were the views of Executive Secretary of the Muslim Ummah of Southwest Nigeria, MUSWEN, Professor Wale Abbas, and an expert in the sociology of religion, Professor Jacob Ayotayo, while speaking on the topic, religiously motivated violence, confronting intolerance, protecting lives, on the BCOS News Magazine program, Saturday Special. BCOS reporter Fedora Folagboye, who monitored the program, has the details.
As the world marks the International Day commemorating the victims of acts of violence based on religion or belief, attention is drawn to the devastating consequences of religiously motivated violence and the need to protect lives and promote peaceful coexistence. The observance also provides an opportunity to reflect on the causes of religious intolerance and the collective responsibility to confront all forms of violence committed in the name of religion. Speaking on BCOS Saturday Special, the Executive Secretary of the Muslim Ummah of Southwest Nigeria, MUSWEN, Professor Wale Abbas, said religion had in some instances been commercialized, misinterpreted, and exploited to perpetrate evil. He attributed religious intolerance partly to the activities of insincere religious leaders who, driven by personal, political, or commercial interest, mislead their followers and manipulate religious teachings for ulterior motives. Professor Abbas maintained that greater integrity among religious leaders and a genuine commitment to the fundamental principles of their faith would help reduce intolerance and violence.
This is sincerity. When you emphasize understanding too much, to a large extent you understand. And I mentioned the other time that they have commercialized the thing. When you commercialize religion, in commercial activities, anything goes. I mean, instead of intra-Christian problem, inter-Islamic problem. But to those who study, they reduce traditional religion to paganism, idolism. There's no pagan in the world. There are many idolaters in the world. They are the and I will explain to you now. When they came, they said, oh, it's paganism. They will say, I can on total African has an idea of a God. Now, what is an idol? Let me tell you today, every religion has an idol. Christianity, Islam, Christianity. What is an idol? An idol is an image that gives a picture of a religion. But when you turn the totality of worship to that idol, it becomes idolatry.
Both guests emphasized the right of every individual to freely practice his or her religion, while urging Nigerians to respect people of different faiths and avoid actions capable of undermining peaceful coexistence. They called for greater tolerance, meaningful relationship across religious divides, and responsible leadership, stressing that protecting human life and dignity should remain paramount regardless of religious affiliation. Fedora Folagboye, BCOS News.
A United States federal court has blocked a policy introduced by President Donald Trump that banned immigrant visa processing for Nigerian citizens as well as those of 74 other countries. U.S. District Judge Jeanette Vargas handed down the ruling in the Southern District of New York. According to the courts, the policy introduced by the U.S. Department of State in January was unlawful and went beyond the authority granted the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, under federal immigration law. It was reported that the policy had stopped the issuance of immigrant visas to applicants from listed 75 countries, and Nigeria was among the African countries placed on the list. Recall that the Trump administration had justified the move on concerns that applicants from the affected countries would become dependent on public assistance after entering the United States. Fashion trends are often described as cyclical, with styles once considered outdated making a comeback in new and modern forms. From ashoke trousers and jackets to bell-bottom and palazzo trousers, several vintage-inspired styles are finding their way back into the wardrobes of today's generation. BCOS reporter Abimbola Shawande takes a look at the revival of old-fashioned trends.
What was once regarded as old-fashioned is gradually becoming fashionable again, as young people embrace styles associated with previous generations while giving a contemporary touch. One notable example is Ashoke, which has moved beyond traditional ceremonies to become a versatile material for modern outfits, including cargo trousers, jackets, skirts, and bubu dresses. A fashion designer, Mrs. Abimbola Oyadiro, explains that fashion is cyclical, with old styles often returning in new forms. She says Ashoke, as an important part of Yoruba culture and heritage, has remained timeless, adding that its transformation into contemporary designs has increased its appeal among young people and customers within and outside the country.
Ashoke is timeless, like I said earlier. If we change from baggy trousers, I'm sure something else will come up. Apart from jackets, apart from skirts, something else will come up again that everybody will love to wear the Nigerian culture and be proud of it.
Beyond Ashoke, other styles that once dominated the fashion scene are also making a comeback. These include bell-bottom and palazzo trousers, damask, and other traditional Yoruba outfits.
Everybody wants to wear Ashoke cargo pants. Everybody wants to wear jackets like what I'm wearing. Everybody wants to wear the boo-boos, not the usual Iramboba or the danchiki and shokoto.
For a fashionista, Mrs. Kemi Kolewo, the return of old-fashioned trend is part of natural cycle of fashion.
It's an age-long practice. I don't think there is anything that is old that hasn't been coming back into fashion. I remember when we were young, when I got married in 1977, I actually used coupon for my wedding. That was about 49 years ago. And it's called cord. And cord is back now. So it's the same thing with Ashoke. As at that time, I wore the cord on my damask hero, and now people are back into damask again. So there is nothing, fashion goes, fashion comes.
She expresses excitement over the growing interest of young people in traditional outfits, describing the development as a positive step towards preserving Yoruba culture and identity.
You see people now wearing trousers made with Ashoke. You see them with jackets. I have jackets that are made with Ashoke. And anytime I wear it, people are always like, wow, this looks good on you. So there's nothing new under the sun. Old fashions are coming back in terms of dressing and whatever. It's all over the world.
Mrs. Kolewo notes that while fashion continues to evolve, young people can adapt old designs to suit contemporary lifestyle without losing their cultural significance. With growing interest in vintage-inspired designs, fashion enthusiasts say the revival goes beyond bringing back old clothes. It represents a creative blend of tradition, cultural identity, and modern style. As designers continue to reinterpret classic trends for today's generation, styles once considered forgotten may well have found a new place in contemporary fashion. Abimbola Ashawande, BCOS News.
Away from that, an examination is meant to test what a student knows. However, some students search for shortcuts to get good grades. With digital devices and artificial intelligence now in the mix, the integrity of exams is under serious threat. In this report, Adiola Ladili examines the growing menace of examination malpractice and the way forward.
A good grade can open doors to universities, scholarships, and jobs. But what happens when the knowledge behind that grade is missing? This question highlights how examination malpractice continues to take new forms across the education system. Year after year, examination bodies have battled the problem. This year alone, the West African Examinations Council, WAEC, withheld 167,486 results over irregularities detected during the 2026 examinations. While identifying poor supervision as one of the factors encouraging examination malpractice, a professor of arts and social science education at the University of Ibadan, Professor David Fakeye, urged WAEC and other examination bodies to strengthen their systems to prevent leakages of examination questions.
Students in secondary school their children, they can be tempted to do anything. Even when they don't have the intention of cheating, and they now see that exam questions are flying all over the places, they will also want to say, let me look at it and get prepared. Because if you don't go to all that direction, then somebody that does not come to school regularly or is not better off, we end up with better grades in WAEC. So from the end, let them plug all loopholes where exam questions used to come out. The repercussion is that many of them, when they get to the university, they will not survive the first year.
The director of the Career Development and Counseling Center, UI, Professor Bayo Oluwole, noted that technology has added a new dimension to examination malpractice, with some students using mobile phones and artificial intelligence to gain unfair advantages, partly due to inadequate invigilation.
The society crave for certificates is also an enabling factor. And as such, it is very essential that parents have to be more serious with parenting, where there is parental pressure on the children to deliver beyond their capability. It is average of 14 years when individual is engaged in exam malpractice and is arrested and tried in the law court. But how many people, aiders, abettors, how many people, the students, are brought to justice as a result of exam malpractice?
In his opinion, an educationist, Professor Adams Onuka, maintained that teachers and school authorities must support the integrity of the process rather than becoming preoccupied with securing impressive results to enhance the image of their schools.
There is no one particular variable that is responsible for it. There are, a conglomerate of variables. The parents, the student, the school, the teachers, and some staff of the examining bodies are also. And of course, these things are printed. People said them. And people, whether you use computer or not, people hack. Government comes in, the proprietors come in by providing all that is required to use to teach, for the teachers to teach. Having an environment that is attractive to the learners. Let learners, try. Don't be in a haste. You want your child to get to the university at 16, at 14, at this thing, and so what?
Stakeholders say there must be a collective commitment from parents, teachers, government, and students. According to them, emphasis should be on building capacity and knowledge, not just chasing certificates. Adeola Oladili, BCOS News.
5 men reportedly lost their lives in the early hours of Saturday as a car and a truck collided at Sawmill by Mowo bus stop along the Badagry Expressway. A statement by the Permanent Secretary, Lagos State Emergency Management Agency, LASEMA, Dr. Olufemi Okiosoyintolu, noted that the agency had received a distress call at 5:16 a.m. and immediately activated its Dolphin team from Igodo base. Osoyintolu said preliminary investigation revealed that the accident was caused by overspeeding and reckless driving on the part of the car driver. The driver reportedly lost control of the vehicle, veered into the opposite lane, and had a head-on collision with the oncoming truck. The Permanent Secretary LASEMA commiserated with the families of the deceased and prayed for the repose of their souls. He also urged all motorists to desist from overspeeding, wrongful overtaking, and other dangerous driving practices, especially during early morning hours. We now go over to the sports segment of the news. Please stay with us.
Good evening and welcome to sports segment on the news. I am Oluwatoyinka. We'll start off with volleyball as the Nigeria men's volleyball team has reached the final of the 2026 African Beach Volleyball Nations Championship in Alexandria, Egypt, after defeating Mozambique in straight sets in the semi-finals. The Nigerian pair secured a convincing 2-0 victory over Mozambique today, winning both sets 21-17, 21-17 in an explosive semi-finals encounter. The result sets up a highly anticipated final against host Morocco, with Nigeria now just one victory away from claiming the the continental title. The women's final is expected to be another test for Nigeria as they battle Morocco for the championship crown in Alexandria. Now to football. The Nigeria National League (NNL) has unveiled the conference composition for 2026-2027 seasons, with the participating clubs distributed across 4 conferences. The official lineup features teams from across the country in conferences A and B comprising 9 clubs each, while Conference C and D each have 8 teams. Conferences A comprises of Remo Stars of Ogun State, Idol FC, Godswill Akpabio and others, while Conference B also has Beyond Limit, Solutions FC, Aqua United, Smart City and a host of others. Conference C has El Kalemi Warriors, Adama United, Jigawa Golden Stars, while Conference D has Yobe Desert Stars and Kado Warriors. With the conference structure now confirmed, attention will turn to the commencement of 2026-2027 NNL campaign as the participating clubs begin preparations for the new season. The NNL is a key pathway for clubs seeking promotion to the NPFL, making the upcoming campaign significant for both established side and emerging teams. Finally, from tennis, world number 1 Yannick Sinner has confirmed that will not compete in the US Open, the final Grand Slam of the season, because of a right knee injury. The Italian stated in a statement that even though he has been working hard with his team and his medical staff, they have now had to make the difficult decision that will not be able to compete at the US Open this year. The 5-time Grand Slam winner has not played since winning Wimbledon on July 12, pulling out of US Open warm-up hard-court tournaments in Cincinnati and Montreal. He will now remain in Europe and continue his recovery with the aim of being ready for the Asian Swing and the tournament in Beijing and Shanghai. Sinner dominated the 2026 season with an impressive record of 44 wins against 3 losses and 6 titles won, including Wimbledon. However, he suffered a major disappointment at the French Open, where he arrived as the overwhelming favourites but crashed out in the second round after suffering in the heat wave. On Thursday, however, his rival Carlos Alcaraz announced that he would return to competition at the US Open following a more than 4 months absence due to a wrist injury. And that will be all for tonight. Thanks for watching.
Thanks, Yinka. On the foreign scene, multiple people have died following a collision involving a police vehicle and a car on a major road in northern England. According to newsmen, the crash occurred at about 3:39 a.m. on Saturday on the A66 in South Bank near Middlesbrough in Teesside. The Northeast Ambulance Service confirmed that 3 vehicles in total were involved. A police spokesman said the collision resulted in multiple fatalities, adding that the police is working to identify the victims and contact their families. The force added that the road remains closed in both directions between Normanby Road and Church Lane and would stay shut for some time. To end news around the world, here again are the top stories. Bandits have reportedly invaded Dakara community in Borgu local government area of Niger State, abducting an unspecified number of residents shortly after they attended Friday Jumu'ah prayers. Oyo State Governor and presidential candidate of the Allied People's Movement, APM, Governor Seyi Makinde, has challenged Nigerians to subject all presidential contenders in the 2027 election to rigorous scrutiny. The Oyo State Police Command has commemorated the 2026 International Youth Day with a police-youth dialogue aimed at strengthening mutual trust, promoting responsible citizenship, and addressing security challenges affecting young people. On the foreign scene, multiple people have died following the collision involving the police vehicle and a car on a major road in northern England. BCOS TV is now on Niger TV app, and you can watch us from any part of the world. The BCOS website is also live. Kindly visit www.bcostv.com. Alternatively, you can watch us on GoTV, channel 134, and on StarTimes, channel 113. Now, before I go, if you see something suspicious, alert the authorities for prompt response. Be vigilant. That's news around the world from me and the production team. Many thanks for watching. Good night.
When you're home late from work, you want
Glovo.
Need to shop without the queue.
Just get on Glovo.
Got to grab some sharp gifts.
Order with Glovo.
Pizza, wigs, flowers.
Glovo.
Order anything you want and vibe away. If you need to get it, there's no better way. Ding dong Glovo, ding ding dong Glovo.
Download the app, order anything, track it minute by minute, and we'll deliver.
When pain dey hammer me for back, na 2 tablets of Panadol Extra I go take. Panadol Extra get the kind of rishi for extra pain relief wey dem don put for inside am, and e be one wey dem don confirm for clinic say im be ogbonge medicine for pain wey dey tough. For fast relief from pain wey tough pass, like headache, toothache and muscle pain, I don carry waka from pain be that, come stand down to help people dem wey need me. Kia relief from pain wey tough.
Ìlọ́jọ́ ìbí ẹ, ẹ kú àṣeyẹ, ẹ̀mí aṣọ ọkọ ẹ.
Bí eré lomi tó róṣe dìbú kẹ̀rẹ̀kẹ̀rẹ̀ díẹ̀díẹ̀ làgbàrá ń dòdò tí ń sàn geere ojú olóko lè buṣú ṣe ń ta tí diṣu lójú ẹni àánú làgbẹ̀rí gbà fẹ́ni tó gbàgbọ́n tó so tó tún késo ẹ̀jẹ̀ ọpẹ́ ńlá ni fọ́lọ́run lórí ìgbé ayé rere tẹ́ ẹ ní bàbá wa Reverend Dr. Olókèdé Olúyẹmísí Samuel lórí ayẹyẹ ọjọ́ ìbí yín èyí